You're listening to Saturday Morning Media. And now, back to our show. Here we go. Welcome back to the GrantCast, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Grant Baciocco. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading this episode. Thanks for checking out the show. If you're new here, welcome. Appreciate you checking it out. If you're old here, welcome. It's appreciate you checking it out. And if you would like to support the show, you can do so by becoming a Patreon patron of the Saturday Morning Media. But we'll talk about more of that at the very end of the episode. Speaking of if you are older, I am now older from the last time I recorded a podcast. My birthday was recently. And a few years ago, what I started doing was there is a website called Future Me. And it is at futureme.org, futureme.org. And I will have that in the show notes. And what you can do at futureme.org is you can write a letter to your future self. And I think it's like maybe like you can just do it for free. But if you pay like, I don't know, $15 a year, it's very cheap. It's very inexpensive. You get all these other bonus scheduling features and everything. And I found this years ago, literally probably over a decade ago. They've been around for a long time. And basically, you just write a letter to your future self, and it'll be delivered on the date that you specify. So I have done things where I've written letters like 5 years in the future. I've written letters 10 years in the future. And I do every year on my birthday write a letter to my future self. And it was very funny, this future self letter that came into me on my birthday this year. And it says, "Dear future me," I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's also very, very short. "Dear future me, hello, happy birthday. I'm writing for June of last year. Hopefully you're still around to get it." So, you never know. "Today I decided to swear off sugar. How'd that work out?" So I'm asking myself in the future. I talk about a few other things that I was doing at that time, but I end with the sentence, "Hope that work picked up for you in some respect by this time next year," because last year I hardly worked at all. So, well, no, that's not true. I did, up to that point, I had not worked at all. I did get some work last year. So it's not all doom and gloom. But anyway, those two sentences, today I decided to swear off sugar, and hope work picked up for you in some respect by this time next year, both really hit me because not quite. I wrote that letter on June 2nd, 2025. And it wasn't until August 2025 that I really started making a focus on losing weight, eating better, getting into better shape. And I have done that. And I'm very not done with that work, but done very well in that work. I think it's about 45 pounds so far that I have lost. So not using Ozempic, not that there's anything wrong with that, but my good friend Russ Walco today said, "So does everybody just think you did Ozempic because that's what everybody's doing?" And I was like, no one's really said anything. We've actually talked about how because of social awareness, people don't comment anymore on people's appearance, which is great. So anyway, I just thought that future me letter was fantastic. And I did write a letter on my birthday to me a year from now. And we'll see what happens then. I went to an engagement party for two friends, and there was lots of friends there. And it was a potluck. So we were all supposed to bring some sort of thing to the thing. And my friend Colleen, who's an amazing improviser and puppeteer, her sister Jen, who is hilariously funny and fantastic and an amazing cook, brought a cheesecake. Now, if you are a longtime listener to this show, you know that I have a cheesecake thing. I love cheesecake, and it was more when I was younger. You can go back and find it. There is an episode. In fact, I'll link it in the show notes here. There was an episode where I talked about the best cheesecake I ever ate, and that, of course, was at the Denny's in Honolulu. Jen made a cheesecake for this event, and it was one of the best desserts it was the best cheesecake I've ever had, and it was one of the best desserts I've ever had. And so I just wanted to talk about that because, as you know, I want to keep you posted. And if you've listened to that episode, the Denny's cheesecake in Honolulu, Hawaii has now shifted down one notch, and there is a new champion in town because that was a salted caramel with pretzel pieces cheesecake that was amazing. And I will gladly have it again because it was incredible. I recently went to New York. Talking about the future me letter, work has picked up a little bit for me. Work in some respect by this time next year, and I will say it certainly has. I went to New York to work on a secret project that I cannot talk about, but was referenced a few episodes ago when I said, don't count yourself out. And so I went to New York for a shoot in New York, but what was great about it was I flew out on a Thursday and had rehearsal on Friday, but then I had Saturday and Sunday off, and then rehearsal began again on Monday, and then we had rehearsal on Tuesday, and then the shoot was on Wednesday, and I flew home Thursday. But I had a weekend off in New York, and I was like, you know what? I'm staying sort of in Times Square, around the Broadway area. I should go see a Broadway show. Now, I will tell you, and I may have talked about this on the show before, which was the name of the last episode, or sort of the name of the last episode. The last show I saw on Broadway was probably in 1988 or 1989. Actually, it may be 89 or 90. I saw Cats on Broadway. And I'm not going to go into the whole story because I may have talked about it on here. But that is the last Broadway show I saw. And to say that I was unimpressed is putting it mildly. Of course, I was a high schooler, but I just even think today, if you sat me down in a theater to watch Cats, I would be looking at my watch and ready to go. But I wanted to go see a show, and the show that had just recently opened and literally like 2 days before I flew out received, I think, 12 Tony nominations is Schmigadoon. And Schmigadoon was based on the TV show, and where it's a couple and they get trapped in a musical. So I was like, I have to go see this. If this is what I'm going to go, I'm going to go see a show in New York, this is what I'm going to have to do. And I went to the place where like you can stand in line and you can get discount tickets, but it was like the line was insane. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy a ticket because there's just one of me. So I'll probably be able to get a really good seat. And I did. I got third row. I was on the, let's see, I was on the right side of the house. But I was in the aisle in the third row. So I was a little off to the side, but still could see everything. It was fantastic. The show was hilarious. It translates perfectly to the stage, but that's because it's a musical. Anyway, it's really, really great. And it was a lot of fun. So that was my Friday night. Saturday night, I was like, I want to go see something else. I thought, that was fun. I wanted to go see. And there was a lot of different things that I could go see. But a friend of mine's husband said, oh, if you see a show, see this show called Operation Mincemeat. And I was like, oh, okay, I had never heard of it. Didn't do anything nothing about it. I don't know. I didn't know if it was a musical. I don't know if it was a stage play. I just didn't know. All I know is it's a Broadway show. That's all I knew. So that's why I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy a ticket to Operation Mincemeat. And I had told my friend John about it, and I said, oh, a friend recommended Operation Mincemeat, and he was like, oh, it's great. It has like, a bunch of different people playing a bunch of different parts. So those are the only things I knew. I knew the name of the show, and there's a bunch of different people playing a bunch of different parts. So I got another great ticket. I think I was in the 4th row, this time in the just a little off of the center. Friends, I loved this show. This show was so good. I will not give you any more spoilers. I will say that it was a musical, which a lot of times modern musicals do not. I don't get it. But this was amazing. It was funny. I don't want to say anything. But I want to say that I loved it. And they are going out on tour. So if they come near you, please go see this show because it's amazing. It'll be a different cast, of course, but that's fine. Because it's just a brilliantly written show, and it was just really right up my alley. Like, it was really, I was almost like, did they write this musical for me? Because this is what I love in a musical. So I cannot recommend Operation Mincemeat enough. They will be out here in 2027 in Los Angeles, and I will definitely be seeing them. They just got extended, I think, through February of 2027. So I'm hoping that maybe work takes me back to New York and I could go see Operation Mincemeat, because I would love that. Because it was just amazing. And the cast was incredible. It's not the original cast. This is the cast that came in after because it was a show that started in London, on the West End. But this was the cast that came in after the original cast left. I think they left earlier this year. But it was amazing. It was so great, hilarious, touching, fantastic music, and I highly recommend it. So Operation Mincemeat, that was wonderful. The next night, I actually thought about, I wanted to go see Stranger Things, The First Shadow. I think that's the name of it. The special effects were great. The story was not great. And it was just kind of seemed like the shoehorn story. And I don't mean this in an offensive way, but it did not seem to me like a Broadway show. It seemed to me like a theme park show. Where it's more about the spectacle. This is what I mean, where it's more about the spectacle than the story. Because, a lot of times theme park shows, it's like the show is 20 minutes, so you're not going to get this in-depth storytelling. Well, this thing was, I don't know, it was 2 hours, and there was no in-depth storytelling. It was really just basically about the special effects in the theater. The acting was great. It was fine. But I was just not 100% impressed. So then that was Sunday night. Monday, I was like, oh, I should go see another show. And I was going to go see Little Shop of Horrors, which is, I think, playing off Broadway, but, Puppeteer. So it's the puppet play, to go see that. And there was part of me that's like, you could go back to Operation Mincemeat and go see that again, because, you never know when you'll be back or when you'll get a chance to see it. But I was kind of in this thing in my head where I was like, no, I don't. I love the show. I love seeing it just amazingly right there in front of me. And if I went back again, I think it would lessen my excitement for it. So I'm just going to wait. So I went and saw the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, which was off Broadway, and it was funny. I've never seen it before. I've heard about it for years and years, have friends who have done the show, and in different cities. Not like I didn't go see them do it, but Bill Larkin, the hilarious Bill Larkin, was in Putnam County Spelling Bee, but in Chicago, so that's why I did not go see him in that show. John Cryer was it was his first night. So the first, that showing was the first night with John Cryer coming in, for a couple weeks. And so it was fun. It was if I was going to rank them, it's so hard because I love Schmigadoon so much, but Operation Mincemeat, just for the pure knowing nothing about this, seeing it, and then loving it will be the tops. Schmigadoon is just right there underneath it. Putnam County Spelling Bee, and then Stranger Things, which I should have gone seen Operation Mincemeat that night instead. All right. I want to wrap up with one little story from New York. As you know, I have a puppet character named Toilet Tea Paper. And I got this idea late in the week while I was there, but I was like, oh, you know what? Toilet has channel members who pay monthly on his YouTube channel. And he's got 4 top tier channel members who are at the very top, and they pay a very, very generous sum every month. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to have Toilet send them postcards. So I went and I bought some postcards, which you can get at any shop, and then I had to find stamps and that was just craziness because the time I kind of waited till the last minute to do this, and I wanted them to have a New York postmark, but I wasn't able. I was like, well, where can I get stamps? And finally I found a post office that had a machine that was available until midnight, and I was able to pick up the stamps, but I was there at like 10:45 trying to get these stamps, and I was able to mail. I bought the stamps. I came back, I put stamps on them, and I went to the front desk of the hotel, and I said, "Hi, could you put this in the outgoing mail?" And the lady said, "What?" And I said, oh, I just want to send these postcards. Can you put them with the outgoing mail? And she said, what is outgoing mail? I don't know what that is. Now, here's the thing. This was not, I'm 52 now. This was not a youngster. The lovable lady who was working at the front desk was older than me, and just looked at me like, what are you talking about? Outgoing mail. She had never heard that phrase ever. And so this other woman, she goes, let me ask. And she looks over and she goes, do we have outgoing mail? And the other woman goes, what? She goes, do we have outgoing mail? He wants to mail something. And she's like, oh, we used to, but we don't have outgoing mail now. So there you go. I had to walk back to the post office at 11:45 or whatever it was to put it in the slot to mail these. But it's fine. It was like, it's the Times Square area, so it's like there's people just 24 hours a day walking around, so it's all great. But friends, if you don't know what the outgoing mail is, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I really am. All right. I'm going to end it there. I've chatted long enough. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the GrantCast. This was episode number 276, recorded on May 27th, 2026. Thank you all for listening, and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye, everybody. This episode of the GrantCast was made possible by the Saturday Morning Media Patreon patrons who've gone to patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media and set up a pledge for as little as $1 a month. Patrons at the behind-the-scenes level and above get access to a video of the recording of these podcast episodes, and all patrons get access to the audio of these episodes the moment they are edited. Big shout out to all of our patrons, and a special shout out to our patron producers, Kathy Crawford, Eve Cunning, David Akers, Tony Urbano, Brandy, Scott Armstrong, Paul, Ricky Chavez, Jeff T., Lee Thompson, and Macy Thomas. If you'd like to become a patron and receive commercial-free episodes of the GrantCast before they are released, visit patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media and set up your monthly pledge today. And thank you for your support. This episode of the GrantCast is copyright 2026 Saturday Morning Media, Grant Baciocco, executive producer, all rights reserved. www.saturdaymorningmedia.com.
You've been listening to Saturday Morning Media. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.